Hey, we're diving in a little deeper today on best practices for using keywords on your website. I covered meta titles, Jason covered meta descriptions, and I'm going to touch base real quickly here on image tags. You have the ability to use keywords in your image tags because Google can't read images. You've got to tell Google what that image is all about. So be sure to be descriptive and be accurate, but if you have an opportunity to use a keyword in there, by all means do. I will say that more and more, those image tags are real important for accessibility. Depending on your industry, they can be crucial. So be sure to make sure you're not missing any alt tags and make sure that they're completed and accurate so that people that are using site readers can understand exactly what that image is when they're perusing your site. Jason?
Yeah, all great points, Chuck. We also want to make sure that we're updating our heading tags on the page. We've talked about using headings, your H1, H2, those different size headings based off your CSS, but they also are important in terms of what Google will deem your page as important of. So what we want to do is make sure we're using our primary keyword, if possible, in our H1s so that Google knows exactly what that page or what that keyword is that we want to focus on. Now we have H2s and H3s. It's important that we use supporting keywords in those as well so that we continue to tell Google and the reader what the page is about. Readers often, when they get to your page, they'll scan the page, they'll look at those headings, and if they're relevant to what they search for, often then they'll dive into that content. But we all scan the page first. If we see those keywords, we see relevance, then we'll dive into the content.
Well said. I think the only thing I would add to that is it used to be that you had to have an H1 and only one H1 tag per page. I've read recently that Google doesn't really care if you have multiple H1 tags. It understands what you're trying to do in terms of the usage of those tags. That said, you want to try to make sure that your heading tags are hierarchical. So you want to lead with an H1, follow up with an H2, an H3, an H4. You can have multiple H2s, multiple H3s, but you don't want to jump from an H1 to an H3, back to an H2. So keep your site clean and neat. I think that's what ultimately Google's looking for here in terms of heading tags. But keywords can play a key role in all of your heading tags to describe what the site's about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just say one last thing that your title tags and these heading tags, they are affected by your CSS. You control what the CSS looks like. And if you change up your heading tags to include keywords, make sure it's not breaking your page when you push it live. Don't just go through and make changes in your admin and then push live and not check out what the page is going to look like on the front end as well. So, but all great points. Make sure you're using keywords, your heading tags where you can.